I'm, to what I know, the only gay person in my entire lineage.
Yeah.
It's quite a burden to carry. I have to slay so hard every day.
Yeah. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Interview with My Kid. I'm Arlo Sullivan. This is my kid,
Arlo.
And today is a very special episode because we have Romy here, back by popular demand. His mom is in Canada, so I'm babysitting him, and he's going to be on set with us today. So yeah, look at him. Look how cute he is.
He's the cutest thing in the world.
So yeah, this weekend was a big weekend because somebody turned 14.
Yep.
Big Leo energy, big 14-year-old energy.
Mm-hmm.
How was your birthday? Tell everyone what I got you because I'm the best parent in the world.
He got me a kitten, which I died. Best thing in the world. But yeah, it was really fun. What did we?
Went to dinner.
Oh yeah, we went to dinner. We had a little party. It was fun, and I'm so excited to.
Well, we're like
name my
really
kitten.
celebrating this upcoming weekend because Francesca will be back, and
Yeah.
we're all going to the OC Fair for their last weekend, and that's when we're actually going to celebrate. But yeah,
Yeah.
we went to dinner, and that was really fun and cute. I feel like you look older, I swear to
Really?
God. You look older every day. Okay, so this episode is so fun and exciting. Our next guest is hilarious. They are an amazing content creator, and a lot of their videos do the lesbian moms. You might have seen them on TikTok. Welcome, Hina. The strut is so good. I was really hoping you were actually going to do that. Slay.
It's so actually an ASMR video.
Yeah, it should be ASMR. Should we do the whole episode? KSMR. Romy actually loves ASMR. We watch it before we go to bed at night with Francesca.
This is
Oh,
true. I
really?
hear it from the room. It's interesting.
He's giving Puffyana Grande. He's
Yeah.
giving Gorge. He's giving Smize. Look at
Isn't he
him.
the cutest little baby?
He is.
I
He's
know
so
you
cute.
have such a cute little dog too.
Yeah.
What's
His
it-
name's Yoshi. He
Yoshi.
actually recently came out to me as bisexual.
Oh my god.
I had a room full of gays and girls, and he did not discriminate who he was into. So at that moment, he looked at me in my eyes, and I was like, "Are you trying to tell me something?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you bisexual?" Blink once, and he did. So I was like, "Okay." It's really a lot to be a parent, as you know.
Yeah.
And I think parenting has been a journey, but
Right.
I love him just the way he is.
Right. That's
And
amazing.
thank
More
you.
parents need to be like you
Yes.
when their pups come out.
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's amazing. And his name's Yoshi, right?
Yoshi. Well, if you want to know his legal name, it's Yoshi Fishworm Benjamin Puffin James Sabertooth Sabatine.
Oh my
Puffin James
God.
is hyphenated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Romy's
add the
actually
hyphen.
queer too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I mean,
For sure. Like he likes boys and girls equally. Like
I
he's
didn't
definitely
even
bi.
need you to tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look at his face, you can tell.
Yeah. He has
So we got to
a
get them
queer
together.
vibe.
Maybe love it could
Oh
be in
my
the air.
Not us doing this.
Matchmakers.
Oh, not the arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When you guys were younger, did you ever try to marry your pets? Because was that just me?
No, I didn't do that.
I did not do that.
I guess I'm a romantic, whatever.
You're more romantic than us. Romy, chill. I know your mom's not here, but just chill. Relax.
Do you want me to maybe sing him a song?
Yeah, can you?
Hush, little Romy, don't say a word. Hina's gonna buy you a Yoshi bird. That's all I have so far.
That was great.
Did you love that?
Thank
oh my
you.
god,
That was
so-
awesome.
This episode honestly is already off to such a great start. I'm obsessed.
Slay.
Okay, so let's kind of just get to know you. I feel like a lot of people listening and watching already have seen you on TikTok, and your videos are hilarious, but
Thank
they
you.
probably don't know like your backstory. So where are you from?
So I was born in Japan, in the South.
Okay.
So I don't know why that detail was necessary, but it was.
I mean, people that are from there might be very interested in that.
Right.
You know?
I'm not from the city, even though my family owned a ramen restaurant historically in Tokyo for over like 30 years. Kind of a sleigh.
Yeah, that is a sleigh.
That is a sleigh. And then I moved to Hawaii at some point, and then I finished high school there, and then went to college in San Francisco, and then I've been
Okay.
a Cali boy since.
Yeah. What did you study in college?
So I actually went to school 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school for psychology, for art history, and for I have a culinary degree
Okay.
randomly.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
It was
That's
just
cool.
You
random.
got to cook for us.
So random for eat.
Arlo's an amazing chef too, so
shut up.
you guys should.
I love cooking.
Okay, I'll
you
be
should
your
do
sous
like
chef.
a non-binary dinner together.
Shut up. Okay, like if you had to say like what food is non-binary, like what would you say? Because celery to me is so non-binary.
Oh my God, you're right.
It is genderless.
What else is genderless? We were just doing this. We played this thing called the animal game with Emily Grayson.
Okay.
And we were doing like what animals seem queer, and we both said like frogs and penguins like are automatically queer. Raccoons
are gay men.
Yeah, they're gay men.
Yeah, I've said that for years.
What other foods though? I have to think about this.
Peas.
Peas.
Yeah.
That's such a good one because peas, like, if I was calling peas like in my freezer, oh, get them out.
Yeah.
Right? It's never get him out.
Yeah.
Celery is like, oh, can you get them?
Yeah.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So
for
I'm
sure.
like, what's really going on there?
You know, why is it so hard? Like, if we could like call celery by the right pronouns, why is it so hard for people to do that?
Why? I feel like people see that like I'm gorgeous and perfect, and
Yeah.
people are like, oh, like you're a girly girl.
Yeah,
You're a
yeah.
girly. And I'm like, no.
That's a great thing to talk about. So, like, you know, your pronouns are they, them, right?
Correct.
So many people who have they, them pronouns identify with it in a different way. Like, some people are like, you know, it's all encompassing. I feel all genders. And then others are like, I feel like no gender. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm erring more on the agender side.
Uh-huh.
I don't identify as agender, and I feel like every non-binary person has like their own nuanced experience, so I can't speak for everybody. But for me personally, I feel like I never really felt cisgendered. Like I didn't feel like the word woman encompassed my experience,
Right.
and I don't feel like I'm trans, where I don't feel like I'm a man either. So
Right.
kind of in that like limbo of in between, where I'm like, I have no idea really what that gender feels like, but I do know that like when I feel my best is when I'm celebrating like masculinity and femininity in a way that I think that
Right.
makes sense for me.
Right.
Because I think a lot of what we perceive as like feminine and what we perceive as masculine is determined by like the cis het
Exactly.
like dichotomy of like what is man, what is woman.
Right.
And like to me, I think like a femininity as like of strength, as color, as like, you know, exuberance, as, you know,
Right.
and then like masculinity in my eyes, I think of like flamboyance. I
Right.
think of like, you know, darker colors. I don't really think of like these attributes, these personality attributes as
Yes.
much as I think of them more as like almost like a yin and yang. So when I think about my gender, I think of it very much as this yin and yang, kind of
Yeah.
a, you know, kind of coming up with like something in between there that makes sense. It's
Right.
like my own gender. I don't
Yes.
really know.
Well, and I think that's what's so, like, do you I don't want to say this, but do you consider yourself non-binary? Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, you know, I think that's what's so amazing about, like, the identity of non-binary is that everyone has a different response.
sure.
Because when I was studying gender studies in college, like, basically, like, how it was described, what it is that anything that faces the normative. So it's basically taking the normative head on. And that is, like, just this vast spectrum rainbow of anything.
For sure.
Like, someone could feel like being non-binary is so one thing, and then like how you just described it to me is like absolutely beautiful.
Thanks.
And like I love that. And that's more how I've always viewed it as well.
Yeah.
And you know, I think there's some people who might see you, like you said, and think like, oh, feminine in some ways,
Right.
or maybe masculine in your clothing.
Right.
And I think that's a really amazing way to put it. Like
Yeah.
how you don't even view those things the way they're viewing them. So how could you be
Right.
viewed as feminine, or, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like what I've realized too is like a lot of people are like, don't you get mad when people misgender you? And it's like, I understand from their perspective, like how I'm being perceived,
Right.
because like from the majority perspective, like I do appear feminine. I wear makeup, my hair's long. Hello. So I'm not naive to that. But at the same time, I feel like when I took the label woman off of my identity and just saw my gender as like fluid or like as open, at that moment, I felt like I could be as feminine in my mannerism, in my dress, in like the way that I express myself through like makeup and hair. I could be as feminine as I wanted to, because
Right.
in my mind, I'm not subscribing to what I deem as like society's woman.
Right.
And like that and so I didn't feel dysphoric anymore when I was expressing femininity. Whereas like
Yes.
if you're expressing femininity within the confines of womanhood, that made me feel
Right.
dysphoric.
Right. That makes so much sense. And I think what a lot of people, I think what's happening right now, me and Arlo have talked about this, is now they're boxing in the new genders. So
Right.
if you're non-binary, it has to look like this, and
Right.
it has to be like this.
Yeah.
And
Or
if
you
have to
stray
use
from
they,
that,
them pronouns.
You have to use they,
Right.
them pronouns.
It could be
or,
anything.
Or if you're not
Exactly.
androgynous in some way, you're
Right.
just flip-flopping, or you don't even really know yourself. And
And-
when you actually understand being queer or being non-binary and they them pronouns, like the history behind it,
Right.
it's way more what you're saying than it is
Right.
another box gender, because
Right.
it really isn't.
It's not a one size fits all
No.
gender. Like
It's
Absolutely
whatever they say it is
Right,
for that individual
exactly.
person. And also, too, if this is how it feels for the individual, obviously that's perfectly fine. But, like, when people say stuff like it's being both male and female, and they kind of box it in like
Right.
that always annoys me because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, there's male, female, and then there's like, oh, non-binary is like a mix of both.
Right.
It's
But
like,
some people
well,
do feel that way.
No,
though.
I know. That's what I was saying. Is that it's fine if, like, obviously that's cool if someone like individually is like that. But when people who
When the
aren't
general
non-binary,
consensus
yeah,
is that.
like it's like you're like a mix. Like, oh my god, that's so
Yeah.
cool. It's like
Right. I feel like also though, like I think a lot of people like haven't non-binary is like a mainstream new thing, whereas like being non-binary in and of itself has been for forever.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of like the mainstream understanding of it, and I think the easiest way that people understand anything is through putting things in boxes.
Yes.
Like that is just how human brains work,
Yeah.
right? We think of something new and we're like, oh, so it's like this.
Like this,
And we have
exactly.
that immediate train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for people who aren't educated on it, that's like their easiest way of understanding it. And while that's incorrect, I feel like it just goes to show we need more representation and we need more
Exactly.
education in the mainstream, so that way we can
Yeah.
have this identity.
And this is why,
recognized.
like, one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast and get it to as many like ears and eyes as possible was because we discuss these types of things. Like, I feel like there's content being made out there that is still boxing and not
For sure.
really giving an accurate representation of what these identities are and what each individual feels. And what I wanted to do with this was deconstruct the ideas that so many people have, because I feel like when you do that and you can hear a real person describing how you feel, all of a sudden, I think it opens people's minds up.
For sure.
And they, maybe even someone who has a really boxed idea of gender goes like, oh my God, like, I actually kind of like feel how they feel,
Right.
you know? And so
Sometimes
that's
it just
what I
takes
really
like
wanna do.
one way of hearing it for it to
Exactly.
like click.
Yes.
That's how I felt about math.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it till I was like 24 and I was like,
I
that's
still
geometry.
don't understand it. I use my calculator for everything.
For real.
I'm like 4 plus 8.
Not 4 plus 8.
No, literally, me and Francesca, like, I'm better than her. I don't actually do that, but sometimes, like, I'll hear her like on the phone, and I can hear her like, and then I'll see the phone come out and like pull the calculator out, and I'm like, babe,
It's the gay
that was,
agenda.
that was 6 plus 6. What are you doing?
We can't be perfect.
Yeah, you can't be good at everything.
You can't be good at everything. Like, you
No.
can't be perfect in every way because, like, you're queer.
Yeah.
And then also then, like, be good at math. Like, that's
No.
just too much power.
Math
Exactly.
sucks.
Like, imagine,
I
like,
say this all the time.
imagine, like, a genius. Like, imagine, like, an Albert Einstein, but, like, you're gay. Like, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly.
The ego
and you're
on that
slaying
guy.
on top of that.
Right.
Like-
Imagine like going up to the lab, like wearing like this like floor length like rainbow trench with feathers and
Yeah.
sequins.
No way.
That would be too much for the
Too
world
much.
to handle.
Something would implode.
Imagine like a press imagine a press release and it's just like new science just comes out, like world peace has been discovered.
Yeah.
It's just some gay guy like flaunting like a gay flag.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
so funny.
I know, that's so good.
If anyone out there is into science, please
I know.
do that. For me, for the kids, for the children, for the
children,
dogs,
for the babies and the fetuses.
for the babies, for the future.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's go back a little bit to like, I loved everything that just happened right now. I've actually been wanting this exact conversation to happen, but I just hope it happens
Slay.
organically. So I'm really happy that it did. But so you were mostly raised. So you were born in Japan. How old were you when you left?
That's a
Were you,
distant
like, a
memory now.
fetus,
No,
or-
no. I was like a whole child.
A whole child.
And actually, funny story, kind of going off of that, is like when I moved to the States. So like my entire time that I lived in Japan, my name was Hina.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved to the States, my parents were like, let's use Caitlin.
Oh,
Let's use this like random name.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, not really a slay, but like whatever. I just dealt with it. And then I realized like how much like taking my name away like stripped me of my identity, especially
Right.
because Hina's a Japanese name.
Right.
And like I love this name because it's actually Hina Matsuri is Girls' Day and I'm named after it.
That's
Ironic that I'm a
amazing.
lesbian, isn't it, mom and dad? It's also my dad's birthday, so that's why I was named that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had like so much like cultural significance to me. And then like I come to the States and they're like, yeah, whatever, this is your new name.
Why do a lot of like Japanese parents do that?
I think it's more so because they want their kids to be accepted, or
Right.
they don't want.
That's
It's not
what I
that
assumed.
Hina is like a hard name to say or anything, but I also feel like people read it and they like get nervous because
Yeah.
they're like, okay, but it's literally pronounced just like Tina, just like Gina,
Yeah.
literally like any other name that rhymes with
Yeah.
Hina. But people are like, sorry, I don't want to butcher your name,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, literally, it's not that hard. Can
Yeah.
you say Tina? Can you say Hina, Tina? They rhyme.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my parents were just like, okay, well, that was your name for like a Japanese environment, and this is now your name in like an American environment. So like, I don't hold it against them. And
Yeah.
actually, I had a really healing experience recently because my dad was like watching my TikTok live. He's so cute, and he was like, he called me afterwards. He's like, I want to, because I was telling the story, and he was like, I just want to apologize for doing that to you, for taking your name away. I didn't know that that was so traumatizing for you, and I can understand how that was. And I'm like, not me sobbing in an IKEA right now. Like it was so
No,
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. But that's amazing that your dad said that. That's
Yeah.
A lot of parents don't do the call and the apology. So
Yeah.
that's
And like,
awesome.
especially my dad is a Pisces sun, Aries rising, Sag moon. Like that man never apologizes.
I have no idea what you just said.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, Dad.
I'm gonna
I'm just
assume-
kidding, Dad. Don't listen to what I just said.
I'm gonna assume that those signs don't apologize.
Yeah, stubborn.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
I mean, people say that about Leos though, and we're
Yeah.
all Leos here.
Allegedly, I be apologizing for any damn thing.
I'm exactly.
Same.
I'm not as stubborn as people say.
Do you guys feel like as Leos, okay, I'm actually the host now. Do you guys feel like as Leos that sometimes like you overcompensate like selflessness because you know you're a Leo and you're being perceived as selfish?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I feel
I know
like-
what you mean.
You know what I mean? Because like people are like, "Ugh, you're such a Leo," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Shut up!
Yeah.
I'm selfless."
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I just really
I know what you
don't
mean.
have that like part of the Leo at all. I'm like the most like
You're a Virgo cuss.
yeah, I'm a Virgo
so-
cusp, and I'm like an over the top giver. Like my love language is like to give.
Are
and,
you
like,
an acts of service person?
Yes,
Ugh,
like
it's
a
your
lot.
Virgo cusp. Ugh.
Yeah, and
It's a
but-
sleigh, though.
But my girlfriend, like that is what makes her feel loved. So it's like the
Oh,
perfect
perfect
thing.
match.
And I didn't even know that. And she did this interview, and I had no idea. She's never mentioned this to me before. I just naturally was like that. And she was like, the person asked her like, "Oh, what's your like? What makes you feel loved?" And she like said, "Oh, acts of service." And I was like,
You were like,
I found
I
this
hit
out
the
on a
nail on the
podcast. I was
head.
like, whoa.
Nice.
I was like, that's perfect. But
I love
yeah.
that.
I'm not a selfish kind of person at all. But I also have 7 brothers and sisters, so I was raised
yeah.
giant family. Never had anything to
Yeah.
myself. So
Right.
like, I think I'm just used to like sharing and
Right.
giving and like, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Are you an only child?
No, I'm the oldest of 3.
Oldest of 3.
Yeah,
okay.
but like as the oldest, like it is about you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're sounding very Leo right now. You're sounding
know.
like my oldest sister.
Yeah, I just stopped toning it down. I'm like, I am a Leo. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's Leo season. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
is Leo
true,
season.
be you. So you know, maybe in Virgo season I'll tone it down again.
Yeah.
But like Leo season's my time to shine. So I'm
I
just
know.
gonna say any damn thing.
It was just Arlo's birthday, then it's
Right.
mine. Or yours,
Mine, Arlo's,
mine.
yours.
Yeah, because you're July 31st.
not the triathlon.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
This is a lot of energy in here. Oh, and guess who else is a Leo? Romy.
Romy?
I had to put him down, but
I knew it. That
he's my
hair.
our birthdays are very, very close. So
Romy. I knew it. He's a star.
I
And
know,
he
he
knows
is
it
a star.
too.
Yeah.
That's Leo. Yeah. My dog's a Taurus. My big 3 is like all fixed signs, and he's the last fixed sign that I don't have in my big 3. Oh my God. We are so stubborn together. We argue all the time. We are constantly bickering. My dog and I have a lot of tension right now. At one
Yeah.
point, we were not on speaking terms for like a whole 3 days.
oh my god.
The silent treatment?
I mean, he peed on my bed twice in
Oh,
one day.
He does that if he gets mad at us.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like spiteful.
Yeah.
And then he like looks at you,
Yeah, he
and I'm
looks at
like,
you
I'm
kinda
like,
like-
you know what
Yeah.
you've done.
Yes.
It's just
If
like,
Francesca leaves, we'll come back and pee spot on her bed like every time, and he's like, "How dare you leave me and go to a club?"
yeah, it's literally that.
Yeah. He knows
Yeah.
too when it's like running an errand versus like going
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah, my dog
Poppy.
gets like, he'll follow you around if like if he sees you getting ready, because he's like,
yes,
mm,
he does the exact
going
same
somewhere.
thing. Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
yeah.
Okay, we strayed again, but let's. Okay, I want to get to like with your parents
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like your background and your heritage. What was it like coming out? I don't like to ask the classic like
Oh, yeah.
coming out story, but I do like to touch on it because I like other people who are listening to maybe like identify with
Yeah,
that if
for
maybe
sure.
they're struggling or something, or maybe your story was really easy and maybe someone will identify with that. You know.
Yeah, so I didn't come out till I was 24, maybe
Okay.
23. I don't remember.
How old are you now,
I'm
if you don't mind me?
26 as of like
So
a week
recently.
ago. Yeah. And so I didn't really feel like I was ready to come out because my mom had said something to me when I was like a teenager, and she was basically like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're not gay, because she had speculated that I was gay, and then she asked me about it, and then I said no at the time, because when you're like backed into a corner like, are you gay? I was like, I don't know.
No,
so you know, there was that, and then she's like, oh, I'm so glad you're not gay. So then that was always in my head, like, okay, if I was gay, that's a problem. And then so that like sent me into like, I was like already like, I was trying to come out of the closet like a little bit, and then I just ran back inside all the way through Narnia. I was like all the way by like the witch's palace. I was like, I'm not leaving. And then my dad, he's like a conservative. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to be the sleigh I need it to be.
Yeah.
So then finally I was like in the car, like on the way to the airport. Picture me, 23, young and free. And I was in the car. Dancing Queen by ABBA was playing, and I was like, okay,
Gotta love
if
ABBA.
there was ever a time, it's right this second.
Yeah.
And I was also on the way to the airport, so it was my
you're
mom,
like, if I
my dad.
leave.
Yeah, it was my mom, my dad, and me in the car, and they were dropping me off at the airport. I was like home for the holidays, and I was like, if there's ever been a time, it's literally right now. I have an escape plan.
Yeah.
I don't have to see them again.
That's actually, if you're listening and you're kind of scared to come out, wait till you're being
That
dropped
was a
off at
great-
the airport.
yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because I
That's
was
a
like,
little tip.
I can avoid the drama.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let you sit
You
with
can't
that.
even get text when you're on the plane.
That's what
so
I'm
if they're like
saying.
trying to text you or something,
Wait
you
till
get,
you're
like,
really
peace.
close to the airport.
Yeah.
Because
No,
just
that's
in
what I
case-
did.
Yeah,
That's what I
because
did.
just in
If it's
case.
LAX, wait till you're like really close to your
Wait till you're
terminal.
about to get out of the
because
car.
you could be in LAX and you still have an hour to go. So
Yeah.
Be careful though, because some people like to kick people out of the car when
Right.
they come out in the car. So
That's
you gotta
true.
be careful.
You
Gotta
gotta-
wait till you're close.
Yeah, wait till you're at a safe area.
Yeah.
safe zone.
Yeah, my parents were too obsessed with me to do anything crazy. So I was like, it's fine. I was 10 minutes from the airport. I was just like, guys, I'm gay. My mom's like, I knew it. And I was like, what? And she's like, I knew your tattoo, your hair, the way you dress. You're a boxer. And I was like, oh, not this. And then
That's amazing.
like my dad was just like, I'm just sad that you felt like you couldn't tell us sooner.
Oh.
And then I was really shook. I was like, oh my God, not them being so loving and accepting.
Yeah.
And now like my dad, like who I don't even recognize him anymore, because he's like, he says slay. And then he'll be like, my Aries is rising today.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
God. Oh my
okay.
God.
And then my mom bought like rainbow slippers the other day. She sends me a picture with a heart. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, ally.
I feel like a lot of times I hear more often than not that there'll be a little bit of a shock sometimes, and then usually the parents end up kind of coming around. And obviously this isn't across
Right.
the board. I know people who to this day still speak to their parents, won't
Yeah.
even have anything to do with them, which is awful, obviously. But I do hear this more and more, and I think there is a level of acceptance that is happening publicly. So I think that gives the parent who is a conservative a little more of that like safe space to feel like, oh, I'm not like on my own with this.
Right.
I've seen so many kids come out right now, and maybe that's helping, you know?
Right. Yeah, I was like really surprised because I didn't know anything about like I'm, to what I know, the only gay person in my entire lineage.
Yeah.
It's quite a burden to carry. I have to slay so hard every day.
Yeah.
But my mom like told my grandma, my Japanese grandma, and turns out like my baba like has had gay friends for like decades.
Wow.
And I'm like, where were these people?
Yeah.
Like what was going on? And like there's so much about like your own family that you don't know. Like, you know, I would not be surprised if someone in my family was like, I had a queer experience one
Yes.
time, no homo though.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I would
Yeah.
not be surprised. So yeah, I think that for the most part I expected the worst,
Right.
and then I got like the best response,
Yeah.
which is like I'm super 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 lucky.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think like as long as your child is like healthy and happy and themselves, like that's all you
Right.
could really want as a parent. And
Yeah.
like I can't imagine why, like aside from maybe like some religious reasons,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
there really shouldn't be anything that holds you back from holding
No.
holding your child and being like, I
Even
still
religion,
love you.
because like really when it comes
Yeah.
down to it, like even in the Bible, it doesn't really say anything about
Yeah.
homosexuality. That's all
Yeah,
false.
that was a mistranslation.
Let's fix that.
Yeah. Also, the word homosexual did not exist until 1892 when a German psychologist was like, hey, this is a word now, which created the dissonance between hetero and homo.
I really love the stare into the camera. This is
Yeah.
like, you really got to hit home with those eyes, just stare into their soul.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, raising Arlo, like people, ask me all the time, like, oh, but you don't want your kid to be non-binary or queer. You don't want that for them. I'm like, why would I not?
Why would I not want that?
I want my kid to grow up being happy and healthy and whatever that means. Literally, Arlo could say anything to me.
Right.
And I would be like, 2 thumbs up.
Nice.
You know, as long as you are happy. It's so funny. Literally, I was thinking about this driving home in the car the other day. So like when I came out as gay, very similar to responses to your parents. Like at first kind of like, oh, there was signs or, oh, it's a phase or whatever. And they were like cool with it. And then they even like really came around and like would be like, oh, like I love your girlfriend and blah, blah. And like, but then when I came out as trans, that was a whole different thing.
It's a whole different story.
And it's in a lot of ways like really split my family apart. And I really barely have contact with them anymore. And so I was thinking about this on the way home. And I was thinking like, if my like mom saw me right now, she would see that I've never been happier. Like you can see it in my soul. Like I have never been more.
You seem like a really happy guy.
I'm a happy, successful, like everything in my life is great. You know,
Right.
like I have an amazing girlfriend. Like I have an amazing kid. My career is amazing. Like I'm just a happy person.
Thriving even.
I have thriving. I have great friends. Like,
Right.
and so if I was a parent and I saw me, I would be like, yeah, like
Right.
bleep. But yeah, I would be like so stoked. So it's so hard for me to understand as a parent not feeling that.
Right.
And I don't want to speak for my mom, and maybe she does feel that. I don't really know. It's just obviously not the vibe I get, but
Yeah.
you know.
Not the vibe, not the energy.
But you know, I love her, and I hope that she knows that, and that like, you know, it's not. I never feel anything back, but that's just how I would view the situation. But that actually is a great segue to, you can ask this question. You know, you make videos being like lesbian parent, which
Correct.
are hilarious.
Thank you.
I love them. I die because I was at one point a lesbian parent.
True.
You know, I identified that way at the time, and that's actually why like they made me crack up, because I would be like, oh my God, I used to do that. It's so funny.
So was there anything that inspired you, or how did you start like knowing that you wanted to be a content creator or even just start making content?
Well, my coming into my content creation career is like, I was working in music, and I was actually working with an artist, and she was like, how do I get my music out there? And this is at the time when like TikTok got a hold of Say So.
Yeah.
So I was like, Bestie Poo, you got to get on TikTok because this is where everyone is blowing up right now. And so she was like, oh, I don't really want to do TikTok. It's for kids. I was like, I'm going to get on the app and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to let you know.
Okay.
And so I got on there, started messing around, making some videos, and then I had a video go viral. And then I was like, okay, cool.
What video was it?
It was this like video I did called Polyglot Check, where it's me speaking 7 languages in 60 seconds.
Oh.
So that was that. And then I eventually just like, I think 2 months later, I just quit my job because I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about creating things. And I was
Yes.
like, this is so fun. This is so creative. I really love doing this. And then it wasn't until the Donkey Kong lesbian parent series that I really was like, this could be my career.
Yeah.
Not necessarily based on this character, but like I finally found my comedic footing and like a
Right.
voice that like lands.
Right.
And I actually modeled that character a lot off of myself.
Right.
Like just things that like I do, but obviously the most flamboyant, like extravagant version of
Yeah.
myself. And if I had like infinite wealth,
Right.
which is like, I'm honestly manifesting that. So
Yeah.
that character is like a manifestation exercise for me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and like for me, I didn't see like any lesbian like slice of life sitcom-y type of content out there.
Exactly.
And like especially in mainstream media, there's no shows just about like lesbians and their kids. Just like doing regular
anytime
things.
it is ever done, like even if it's like a side character in a show,
Yeah.
I feel like it's not accurate because it's
For
usually
sure.
like a white cis
Who's
man
writing this?
writing it, and
Super over sexualized,
Yeah.
really fetishized,
Yes.
and like I feel like also the double whammy of like being Asian and a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like I talk about this with my girlfriend all the time because we're both half Japanese, and like to us, like we don't look alike because we like we're the same race, so we
Yeah.
see each other and we're like we're obviously different.
Right.
But to other people are like siblings or dating, and I think it's kind of funny because like I get how you might like we both have wavy hair, we
Yeah.
have like similar skin tone, like
Right.
we have Asian eyes, different eyes, might I add. But we were always talking about how especially like the double whammy of like being Asian and being lesbian, and how like being Asian in and of itself is already a fetish to people, and like Asian people are fetishized or hypersexualized, and that's just like something that happens. And then you have like lesbian, which is already also hypersexualized and fetishized. So then you have that combo, and people are like, you know, people always say like, oh my God, you guys are really sexy together, blah, 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 blah. We never just get like, you guys look happy. Like you guys are like wholesome. Like we literally, if we kiss, it's like, this is sex. You know what I mean? Where it's like, that's really not the vibe. And I feel like if, like, for example, like if there was like two people of any other race that were dating and like even look remotely similar, people aren't going to be like, are you guys siblings? You know, it's just because people like there's like that stereotype that all Asian people look the same.
There's so many stereotypes happening on top
against
of one
us.
another. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really great. Like that, your content is kind of like deconstructing that. And like showing like a different side. Because like, I even remember when I like identified as like lesbian. It was crazy how much I was sexualized. And I was like a boyish, like I would have been considered like butch, you know? And like men would be like, oh my God, like I just saw you like kiss your girlfriend. That's so hot. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like a peck on the cheek, like, or just like a couple like holding hands. Like it's weird.
Like imagine if like a straight couple was like just kissed on the cheek
and I walked up to them.
That was so hot. You guys. Imagine.
So
but yeah, so like my content was a lot of like, instead of like bringing like sex and instead of bringing like these, you know, like hyper, you know, intense themes, I just wanted it to be funny and wholesome and light, and I wanted to show like a positive family dynamic, because not everything that's gay has to be tragic or traumatic. Like let's just put that out there. And like I didn't see anything that really was showing that at the time on TikTok especially. So and I knew that like when you have access to like billions of people, because billions of people use this app, that like if any person who was queer saw it, what if that was their first time seeing like a lesbian parent who like, one, a lesbian parent, two, a lesbian parent who also loves their children. That could be a first time anyone has seen that kind of thing ever. And that could be impactful.
Absolutely. That's like everything I do on social media from when I started, you know, forever ago to now is for those exact reasons. Like even if it's just a few people that saw and they've never had that representation before, which is like when I was a lesbian parent, that's what I always wanted to do, is like, look, we're happy. My kid's happy. We're successful.
We're not like
it's not this tragic story. And like even then transitioning, a lot of people were like, oh, but isn't that so like hard to show yourself like pregnant, like you're a man? And I was like, yeah, like it is. Like I don't love seeing those photos, but simultaneously I want to show that like my life has gotten to where I want it. Like it's not this sad story where I'm like, oh my God, I got pregnant and I was a man and it was miserable and like I was so sad and now like I don't know what to do. Like I wanted to show that like there's these stories out there and look how happy I am. And I've had literally people reach out to me and be like, oh my God, I'm a trans man. I also got pregnant. I thought my life was over, like blah, blah. And you and Arlo like gave me hope. Like if like two people saw that, like hell yeah. You know?
And I feel like a lot of people just like in general feel like pregnancy is like the end of your life. But I feel like you guys are a perfect example that like it was really the beginning, like the genesis of like your life, you know, along with like actual life.
And I was actually in high school too. So there's so many aspects that like people have identified with. I've had people reach out to me and be like, oh my God, I'm in high school. I got pregnant, or I'm a dad and my girlfriend got pregnant, or whatever it is. And like there's so many parts that like I want to show like shit gets better. You know?
It does. Look at us now. Look at them.
Look at us now.
Can we get a close up? I'm just making things up. Sorry. I'm a producer now.
So I wanted to also ask, because you said like you do identify as a lesbian, and I know a lot of non-binary people don't identify with that term. Where do you stand with that?
I love being called a lesbian because I am like in my identity I'm a lesbian because for me like I've deconstructed what like lesbian truly means to me, and then I feel like it's more like non-men loving non-men, and maybe that's controversial, but also like if I, a lesbian, was attracted to like, because I know I'm not attracted to men, like point blank period. And so I was like, okay, well, queer feels like too like, and queer is like whatever you want it to be, but like to me it didn't feel like it suited me. And if like a lesbian is attracted to a non-binary person, like what exactly is that now? Like, or if a lesbian is attracted to me and I'm non-binary, what are they now? You know what I mean? Like I'm still like, you know, I think of it more of like a non-men loving non-men sense. And
I think it's how you feel.
Exactly.
You know?
And it doesn't
I don't think
really,
there needs to be rules.
And it's just like, and also I feel like a lot of the things that we struggle to like understand are due to a limitation of language more than a limitation of like how far we can understand.
Yes.
Because I think in terms of like, there's no word for like non-binary lesbian, you know, and I know that's confusing to some people because they just can't be open-minded, like that phrase.
Right.
But like in terms of like how much we can say, if there was a word for it, I would have probably identified as that word. But as far as we know in popular, and I can't just make up a word because then I'm going to be like, oh, I'm this. And people are going to be like, are you okay?
And
so,
also, like, I feel like society is just opening that box of like.
I don't want to make it more complicated.
Yeah, like we're so in the baby steps right now that like, I mean, in a lot of ways, even in our country, we're going backwards.
Right.
So like we have so much work to do before we even start kind of, maybe there will be a word for it in the future. But I mean,
someone write a scholarly article.
And like,
you should.
And like
I'm retired.
And like you said, it's like, it's for each individual person. There shouldn't have to be like, oh, this is exactly what this means and it has to mean that. Like it's just up to the individual.
Right.
What they feel comfortable with, how they identify with it.
Right, exactly. You're so advanced. When I was 14, I was like playing Neopets. Like,
literally.
And you're like, here's gender theory.
I know.
And I'm like,
I was like building Lincoln Logs. Do you remember Lincoln Logs?
Yeah, I
That's
remember
was
Lincoln
doing.
Logs.
I was like still so like
I was
kiddie.
still Polly pocketing.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, hey, I love The Sims, you know? I still do that kind of stuff.
The Sims is such a sleigh. Yeah.
It is.
I wish I could like visit you on The Sims.
Yeah,
you know? Because like they don't have that online.
I know. It's so annoying because I'm pretty sure the only way you can do that is like be with actual like people is on mobile.
Can you show me your builds?
Yeah.
I need
they are
to see.
crazy.
I need to see.
I don't have that many because I just started doing Sims on my computer because I used to play on mobile and it was a lot harder to build.
Right.
But yeah, I can definitely show you.
You'd be going crazy on there, huh?
You got to come over. You were saying like offset that you like love board games.
I'm a board game connoisseur.
And we love them. We're more like you know more. I don't even know all the ones you were talking
I'm
about.
an expert actually. I have a degree in it basically.
Yeah.
Board games to me, well, a lot of board games like the classics, Monopoly, the number 3 cause of divorce in the United States.
Yeah.
You know, what are some other, Catan, home of the Great Christmas Meltdown when I threw Catan pieces all over my sister and we still talk about it to this day. It was giving like Kim with the bag and like Chloe and like that was me. I don't condone violence, but you know, here we are.
Board game violence is different.
Yes, board game violence is different because it's coming from a visceral state. It's like I'm in my most primal state when I'm playing. When I roll that dice, I'm strictly monkey.
Why do you think that like board games pull that out of people? Because like we play Clue and I accidentally hit a card. I didn't mean to.
You guys
and
are
I
fighting.
swear Francesca almost divorced me. They almost emancipated themselves. I was like, it was an accident. So why do you think people do that?
Sure.
On a psychological basis, I feel like people like board games. You're so honed in on this one activity. It's almost like, you know, when you're watching a horror movie and you don't know why you're scared, like you're in it, you know this is fake, but like you're in it, you're so immersed. That's what board games do to you. Like you are just in it. You are in it to win it even. And even if people are like, oh, I'm not that competitive, if you just get into that mojo where you're like, I'm playing to win, and if someone like comes in and destroys you, and someone who just kissed you an hour ago and said that they loved you, it feels like the ultimate betrayal, you know?
It does,
And so, and I'm super competitive, and my girlfriend's always like, maybe winning's not everything. I'm like, no, it is.
Yeah.
It literally is, actually.
And we were saying too, like if there can't be two competitive people in a relationship.
That's like, you know, disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's a fight.
Do you play online games too?
I don't play online as much. I do play online poker and online chess.
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't recommend the former.
Online poker, do you actually like lose money?
I've never lost a significant amount of money. I've lost like $400.
Oh.
But
I didn't even know you could do that with online
I feel like that's a somewhat significant amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, compared to like how much I've won, it's not that much, you know. But I really just enjoy I enjoy games.
Yeah.
Anyone who like knows me personally knows I love games.
Will you please come over and we'll do like wine and board games?
Absolutely. We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm actually designing a board game.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
Tell everyone about that.
It's a secret. Can you keep it? Taking this one. Oh, this is a trailer for your next episode. Sorry.
Is it like actually like is it about you? Can you say that?
No.
You're just designing it.
I'm designing it. It's actually not related to anything I've ever done, like branding wise. It's like so random, but it's like one of my best kept like secret hobbies that I have. And so it's like marrying all my interests because I play lots of board games and I have a lot to say about some bad board games.
Yeah.
And I was like, out of all the board games I played, like, how can I make it the best board game possible?
When it's finished, you got to bring that over.
And like,
Yeah.
it's not even like really that queer. It's
Yeah.
like kind of random. So I'm really
You're like,
excited.
I can't believe it's not queer.
Yeah, I was like, can I make this gay somehow? And I was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Just like randomly throw a lesbian in there.
You should also though do a queer. I'm sure like
For
something
sure.
like that exists somewhere, but you should
Yeah.
do like a good
You should
one.
do, you know the game Life?
Yes.
You should do like Queer Life.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Queer
on the
life.
Switch, there's a Game of Life 2, and you can be a lesbian, and
Oh,
there's
really?
a non-binary like I don't know what you call a bride and a groom, but like what would the non-binary version of that person? A marrying person?
A broom and a broom.
A broom. Yeah, there's a broom on there and everything. And then because I was thinking about that, and then I got that game, and I was like, ugh, someone already thought of it. So, you know,
amazing.
whatever.
So you were saying when we were talking about crop tops earlier, you were saying like, I started saying like, yeah, I'm gonna have top surgery soon, and I will wear like tight crop tops when I do. I can't wait.
It's gonna be
and then
so
you were
slay.
saying you are actually possibly thinking about top surgery.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it just because, like, I feel, well, one, I feel like it'd be really, like, obviously gender affirming, but two, I think that it would also provoke people to think further about my gender, which I'm
Yeah.
not doing it for other people, but also, like, the satisfaction of, like, me, like, being topless at the beach, chestless, looking the way I look, like,
Yeah.
what a sleigh.
Yeah, that is. a slay. Look
And
at
I
that.
feel...
You saying slay.
And I just feel like that would like make me feel really powerful and really good, and like wearing
Yeah.
the clothes that I want to wear, because like I bind a lot just because I prefer things to fall flat on my
Right.
body, and it would just save a lot of like hassle. I'm really not sure because like I feel like, you know, you said you were thinking about it for like 5 years,
Yeah.
and I know it's like a really big decision, so
Right.
just something in the back of my mind
Yeah.
that I just think about sometimes.
I think that happens with top surgery a lot. Like it started as the back of my mind. I would see like a friend with top surgery, and then I'd be thinking about it, and then I would be thinking about it more, and then it was like over years. And once I started my transition, I was like, now I literally can't stop thinking about it. I would say like on average, I think about it 50 times a day. Like it doesn't
50.
leave my mind.
I think about it like maybe once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's
I'll wait
definitely
till I get to
something-
50.
Yeah, wait
Yeah.
till you're like, I need this, because
Yeah.
it is a forever thing, and it is
Yeah.
surgery. So
Right.
it's, you know.
And like, I do think that it's really cool though that I've seen more like people who aren't trans men or trans masculine people who are getting top surgery, like lesbians or non-binary people, because I feel some people are starting to realize that we're much more fluid than we think, and it's not like, oh,
100%.
these people have to do this, and then these people have to do
Right.
this, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I
it
think
kind of
that's
goes to
awesome.
show like the spectrum of like gender as well,
Yes.
because
Yes.
gender is a spectrum.
Yeah,
and
gender
it's-
and sexuality both
Yeah.
are
And
very, yeah.
You know, like someone described it that like technically like the whole world is always in drag, and I think that's so true because I
Slay. Yeah,
think
that's
everyone's
true.
in costume, right?
For sure.
Everyone's dressing
We're
up.
all performing a
We're all
gender.
performing.
Yeah.
And so like even for me, like, you know, although I believe like gender is such a spectrum, like I perform and present myself in a very masculine
Yeah.
way because that is what I identify with.
Right.
And so I think what's so amazing about seeing more people, you know, do things like top surgery that aren't, like Arlo said, a trans masculine man, is that it's really opening up people's eyes to how gender is really this performance, right?
Right.
It's how you want to present to the world.
Right, and I feel like also like top surgery isn't like limited to like also the trans community. Like
Right.
it's also, I feel like a lot of people, one, not every trans person needs to get top surgery.
Yeah,
It's
of
just,
course.
Exactly.
you know, and I
course.
feel like a lot of people feel like, okay, if like, you know, you are trans, then you have to have X and Y to be
Right.
like, to be trans,
Right.
when like that's not the case at all. And obviously
Exactly.
like top surgery is also not limited to those people, so it's
Yeah.
like there's like you could
Exactly.
even be cis, and if
Yeah.
you're like, I hate these things, I feel I don't identify with them, take
Yes.
them off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could,
no, I have-
anyone could get it.
I have like a
Exactly.
cis friend who is literally getting top surgery at the same time as me just because like he wants a
Slay.
more flat chest. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be for anyone. And I think also like a lot of people have asked me like, when are you going to feel like you're fully a man? You know? And I'm like,
the transphobia.
For real.
and I'm like, there's not, I feel I was born feeling
Yeah.
like a man.
You
I'm
are a
literally,
man.
I like felt my blood boil. Yeah.
It's like
but I can say this. I can say this as my personal experience. I do think I'm going to feel the most personally fulfilled when I have top surgery.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
just for my own
Right.
self. But that doesn't mean more of a man or less than
Exactly. You are a man. It's just that those things would make you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it matches more
Which
of
is
like what
in
you
the
think
end
you
what
are.
we all want, right?
Right.
That's what gender is. We want to feel comfortable waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night.
Right.
We want to feel comfortable when we look in the mirror. We want to feel comfortable when we hold ourselves or when our partner does. We want
Right.
to feel comfortable when we put a shirt over our body or pull pants up. Like,
Right.
it's those simple things.
Right.
And I think people overcomplicate it,
And I
and they
feel
also
like-
confuse it with literally biological
For
sex.
sure. And I
But-
feel like a lot of people like don't understand like how debilitating that is to like be in a body that you don't feel like is your body.
Yes.
Like to feel like you are like an imposter in your own
Yes.
body.
That
Like
is how it feels. It feels like an
and every
imposter.
single day, like it's hard to look in the mirror. Like if I'm
Yes.
having a especially like dysphoric day, like I do not want to look at myself. Like it is like a whole thing that you have to go through like through your entire life.
Yeah.
And you live in this one body. Like if this is your one person that you have to carry with you for your entire life, you got to love the shit out of them.
Yes.
You got to really
You know, it's like when this is like a funny example. It's like when you get like when you first start playing Sims, and hear me out,
Okay.
and they give you like a randomized character.
Yes.
You're gonna wanna configure that character
right to
and
what you
customize
like.
it
to
yourself.
customize it to
Yeah.
what you want it to look
Exactly.
like.
If I came out how I came out I would still be playing Polly Pocket.
and
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 wearing a horse
also
shirt.
too, not only that, but like in Sims,
Mm-hmm.
like when they give you a random character, they also give you a random gender of character.
Right.
So it's
And a
like you
random
get
name.
to change that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to change that gender. You know what I mean? You get
Right.
to change that character. You get to change their outfit, their
Right.
face,
Yeah.
everything.
in,
their
in
chest
some way,
size.
like in going off your Sims analogy,
Yeah.
like in the Sims you're God, and like
Yeah.
in I feel like in life, like you are the God of your own universe.
how I feel,
You know what I
100%.
mean? And it's like if you have that role to like be the person that can, you know, quite literally as God, like, you know, make whatever you want happen, like the power of the mind, and
Yeah.
also change the way that you look as the God of your own universe.
Yeah.
Go
I've always
crazy.
said one of the
Exactly.
biggest scams in the whole world is that God is outside of you and it's somewhere else and
Right.
it's not you.
It's giving
if everyone,
existentialism.
if everyone actually believed that they were their own God, can you imagine the power?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's really
they
crazy.
don't want us to feel powerful.
And I feel like that's like for this is going to be really controversial. I don't know if I should
Do it, hit it.
But I feel like for a lot of people who can't see God as inside of themselves, they still search for God.
Mm-hmm.
Like the search for God is endless. Like people have like died for God. People have like,
Killed each other,
killed
yeah.
each other for God. And I feel like if regardless of where you find it, you will find it somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, when you can't find it within, you look outside.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you do find it within, it's quite literally the same omnipotent power that you would feel in a ever-present holy
Right.
God. Because
Actually,
I
yeah.
treat myself as if I am that.
I do
the
the
God
exact
that other
same
people
thing.
worship. I worship myself in the same way that people worship at church.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all sounding very Leo amongst us all, but
True.
I love this because I think more people need to hear this. And if you are listening and you feel like you don't have power in a lot of like your choices in life, and you feel like maybe you are born in the wrong body or you can't come out of the closet or whatever it is, you have to remember you are your own God and you will make your own life.
Right. And even if you do believe in God, with respect to the God that you
Yeah.
believe in, like there is no God that would create imperfection if we are made in the image of something that is perfect.
Right.
There
Yeah.
is no mistake.
Yeah.
It's like for the same reason that Adam and Eve were in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
God, if he knows everything, or she, they, if whatever God knows, they would know for all of time. So it's known that God would create two imperfect beings that would then eat the fruit.
Right.
He knows everything, or they, God knows everything they would know everything that would ever happen. And so if they created you in the image of themselves or to be imperfect, then why would God create something that
Exactly.
they wouldn't love?
Imagine, like, I'm not like religious or anything.
I'm not either.
But imagine if like Adam and Eve just like what was it? Adam just was gay, and then like
Adam
they
and
just
Steve?
Yeah, well no, like like Adam was gay, and then they just like like him and Eve just like had fun in the garden and like chilled
Like
and like
never like
yeah,
procreated.
They're just vibing.
yeah, just like
That was it.
yeah, that was the end of it. I saw that like on TikTok or something. I thought it was
The
really
story
funny.
that was never told.
Yeah.
The greatest story never told.
for real. I thought that was
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, I mean, I pretty much obsessed with this interview.
This is so fun.
Like everything. I feel like actually you and I think a lot alike.
Yes.
Like
The
a
Leo
lot of
agenda.
this, the Leo, but also I just think, like a lot of the stuff you said, I was like, holy shit, like that's exactly what I say.
Likewise.
Yeah. So it's
Should we
amazing.
ask the question?
Yeah, we always ask everyone 2 final questions. They're our favorite questions. Arlo, you can hit the first one, but we're also going to do a quick little quiz after this since you're an
I
astrology
didn't
star.
study. I'm just kidding.
You won't need to. You clearly
It's
know a lot
okay.
about this.
I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Go
We should have
ahead.
done about board games.
Yeah, true. What board game was released in 2017?
Yeah.
I would actually know because I subscribe to the board game magazine.
Would 10-year-old Hina be proud of Hina now?
Oh my God, 10-year-old Hina would not even know what's going on. I used to tell people that people would be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd be like, famous.
There you
and,
go.
And like
Yeah,
people would be
good
like, no,
answer.
like, what do you want to be? And I'd be like, I literally just told you. And not saying like I'm famous or anything, but like I get to be a creator for
Yeah.
a living. I get to
Yeah.
be entertain people for a
Right.
living.
Right.
And like
Platform.
10-year-old me would literally pee themselves
That's
in
amazing.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you would refer to your younger self, do you say they, them?
I refer to like just the little guy.
Yeah.
When I was a little guy.
I think they would be absolutely proud of you. I mean,
Yeah.
look at everything you've done. You're designing your own board game.
Yeah.
You're
that would be
just
the
killing
number
it.
one thing
Yeah.
that I would be really proud of as a 10-year-old.
That's awesome.
Amazing. We love that so much. Okay, and then our second question is, if you could leave anything when you leave this earth, what do you want to be known for when
Yeah.
you leave this earth?
It could literally be anything.
Like
Oh
when
my
you're gone,
God,
and
not
when you become a star
existential.
one day or whatever happens,
It could be
what
a
do you want your
quote,
legacy
a
to be?
movie, a song, something you said.
Or just even like
a feeling.
we had someone say like like how much I love my family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it could be anything.
I think the one thing that I fight for and the one thing that like really gets me excited about my work is giving representation, really fighting for meaningful representation. And by meaningful, I mean like stories that aren't tragic, that aren't the same tired story told a million times.
Absolutely.
I want to tell stories and I want to tell them in a meaningful way that gives light to like the LGBT community and specifically lesbians, obviously coming from my experience. And I hope that through what I create, and this is not limited to the content I create, I'm also a writer, it's just sidebar. And so like with the stories that I tell, I hope that someone will read it and someone will see the stories that I tell and be like, I see myself in that. And if anyone
Absolutely.
identifies themselves with me, then that would be what I want to be known for, is just
Amazing.
the stories that I tell.
I love that. I love that so much.
Awesome.
That's exactly what I want to leave on this earth. Other than
Yeah.
this legacy,
You
I
already
wanna leave
have
that
a
too.
legacy.
Bro, this is where your legacy ends.
you're like I'm sitting right here.
They actually hate when I like say that they're like my legacy and stuff. They're like, no.
This
No,
is
no,
such
I don't
Leo
hate it.
behavior.
I don't
This is
hate
my
it.
legacy.
Yeah.
It's like not offspring, not child. This
Yeah.
is my legacy.
I mean, I feel like it because like look at what they're becoming. It's
yeah,
just, like, it's
no,
so cool,
it's
you know?
giving legacy.
Yeah,
I'll
it
say
is.
that.
It is, honestly.
Yeah.
Slay.
Also,
Oh my-
like the timing, like for a Leo to produce a Leo child, like that is
Right?
divine intervention.
Right? I know when it happened, I was like, oh my God, my birthday present. Like
Right.
literally, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
That's and then you guys get to like celebrate
They were
together.
conceived on Halloween. So. Yeah, that also makes
That
so much
makes
sense.
that yeah, I was about to say that like that's
Obsessed
like your
with
whole
horror.
spooky thing.
Yeah, like obsessed with ghosts and horror and all that. And I swear to God, this is a true story. When they were a newborn, I'm talking like 3 weeks old, cried all day long, never stopped crying. And me and their other dad were trying to figure out how to calm them down. And we tried like all like the kid movies. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're like trying anything, playing lullabies. And then Hellboy just happens to come on TV.
Shut
And I
up.
swear to God, stops
Okay.
crying and just stares, watches the whole movie.
Arlo,
and
I
they
feel
were,
like
a
I feel like
newborn.
you've literally never not been in character.
I know.
I feel like you've always been on brand.
I know, and I was like,
And I
that's
love that
the
for
moment
you.
we knew. We were like, okay, this kid
We
is,
got a special one
yeah,
on our
this one's
hands.
special for
yeah.
sure.
My whole character, my whole brand is 2000s horror movie.
I literally love that for you, and I hope if anyone out there is watching, cast Arlo.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like imagine just being like an extra. Just like cameoing in all of your favorite horror movies.
Maybe.
I could see.
For Stranger Things.
maybe you're like the barista with no lines, but just like you're just like there.
Yeah.
That'd be so slay.
That would be.
Yeah,
The
and
Barista.
only I've been trying to get them to act forever because they're amazing at it, and the only thing
I feel like you
I
are.
literally
the
said,
only thing
you're
they
a
ever
humble
said was
king. You're a
Stranger
humble king.
Things, and then they took it back.
No, listen. So I said, I was like, the only thing, and this is even a push, the only thing I would ever act in is Stranger Things, but the 5th season that's about to come out is their last one, and they're not going to be adding really any new characters and stuff.
You missed your
Especially
chance.
You don't know that.
no, because the Duffer Brothers said that.
You're your own
also.
god.
The writer said that also. Plus, how it ended. It ended like it didn't.
Spoiler alert.
Like it ended where the next season is gonna start where they left off. You see what I'm saying?
So,
it's like
so
it's
you
n-
can't just like walk up
exactly,
in the scene. Okay.
Exactly. So it's gonna be like the same characters, the same thing.
Arlo, I feel like you might change your mind in the next couple of years.
I know,
You're a Leo.
100%.
You're like a natural
nah, bro,
star.
I'm not gonna act. Just not my thing.
All right, fine. I won't push
You
it.
just broke their heart.
Just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's all I want for
For
you.
reals, for reals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little quiz.
I don't even know what
quiz.
this is. What are we doing?
So this quiz is called Astrology Expert, and since you're a PhD,
Yes.
you might nail this.
Yeah. I actually just finished my thesis, so go check it out. It's on
Okay.
WikiLeaks.
It's on CoStar.
It's on CoStar.com.
If I am born on July 3rd, what
You're a
sign
Cancer.
Oh,
am I? Wow.
This is easy.
Wow.
Okay.
You can ask me if you're born at a certain time in the day. I can tell you what rising you are.
oh
Wow.
my God. We should have made these hard.
Okay.
Which of these is not? Okay, this is too easy. Which of these is
a
not
fire
an
sign?
Earth sign?
Okay.
Virgo, Leo,
Leo.
Gemini, or Libra? Oh my God.
Or which one's not an Earth sign?
Not.
Oh, not Leo, Gemini, and Libra.
Is that right? I mean,
Which
I
one
trust
is an
you.
Earth sign? If it is an Earth sign, Virgo is the only Earth sign in there.
Okay, yeah, I think this was wrong, but yeah. It's so yeah, not an Earth sign. Leo or Virgo, Leo, Gemini, Libra. So which one's not?
Leo, Gemini, and Libra.
Okay.
Leo's a fire sign,
Fire
and
sign.
Gemini and Libra are air signs.
Oh, okay. Wow, you know even better than whoever wrote this. Okay, go for the next one.
Sorry, I have to read it. Which star sign is the most represented by these traits? Intuitive, creative, and compassionate.
Sagittarius, Aries, Pisces, or Taurus.
Pisces.
Oh, correct.
correct.
Wow.
Damn. I'm gonna ask you my own hard one after this.
I like how Aries is spelled right there. Aries.
Aries.
What is Leo's ruling planet?
The sun. It's the
Yep.
star, not a planet. Trick question.
You want to read that one?
What is the symbol of Aries?
The ram.
The what?
Damn.
Or the bull.
Ram.
What's the difference between a bull and a ram? I honestly
I don't
don't know.
know.
But it's the
Yeah, it was
Oh,
either
what?
twins, crab, scales, or ram.
ram.
Oh, awesome. Well, you got all of them correct.
I'm going to ask you my own special hard one.
Okay.
I was born at 5:02 p.m., August 21st. What's
Okay.
my rising? Do you know?
Okay. Actually, I could probably figure this out. So it's going to be an estimate because I don't.
You don't know,
I don't know exactly.
like,
but
the
if you're born at
geological.
5:02 in the summertime, if the sun rises around like 6:30,
Yeah.
you're probably a Cancer rising.
Am I? I wonder if I am.
Maybe. So
Look on
if
your
this
thing.
if you're born at sunrise, you are your sun signs rising.
Isn't it also dependent on like literally like the area you were born?
Yeah, so you're a Leo and you're a Gemini rising, is that correct? So you were, and you can tell me if I'm right about what time Arlo was born.
Okay.
So you're born August 6th, which means that the sun again rises around 6:37, and you're born 2 placements away. So you're born around 3 or 4 in the morning.
I'm born around
Close, really close.
1:40.
Almost 2 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
1:40
See, like,
something.
That was
It's a
really
rough-
close.
it's a
That's
rough guess.
crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's like 1:48 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
like 140 something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Slay.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Wow,
good
you really,
job.
you know your shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know the walk. I know the talk.
Okay, I mean, this interview was literally amazing. Thank you so much
You guys
for
are
being
so
here.
fun. After the camera stopped rolling, we're gonna chit chat some more.
I know. I literally every time there was like a pause, we were just like talking.
Yeah, literally.
Do you want to go ahead and look in the camera and plug all your socials
Oh,
for
yeah.
those of you, for those that are listening?
I
that
just
don't
got
know?
a new handle on TikTok, you guys.
Woo!
It's just Hina now, Hina. But I'm Kate Sabs at K8 SABZ on all other platforms.
Awesome.
Amazing.
But TikTok fixed my dead name, so.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. This was so great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You guys
Insert
are
clap track.
seriously so amazing. Leo clap.
Leo clap. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Interview with My Kid. We love this episode. Next week is our season finale. It's gonna be amazing, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And thank you everyone who has been sticking with us for this season. Make sure you find us on all streaming platforms and watch us on the Past Your Bedtime YouTube.